In the last days, Bitcoin saw a huge decline and we are now back at the $94,000. But in this video I'm going to show you that Bitcoin is trying to fool everyone again. There are a lot of interesting informations which I will discuss with you in this video. There's also a lot of interesting data and news coming into the market, and I will also discuss the inflows of the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs with you. Later in the video I will also discuss the two altcoins Cardano and XRP because they are also showing a lot of interesting price action. So please slap up the like button because it will help my channel a lot. You can also join my free Telegram group in the link in the description. Let's dive right into the charts. If we zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that Bitcoin fell below this huge support area, and this upward sloping support area was finally broken to the downside. We saw a huge dump, and then we came back to the support area to test it as resistance again, and from there we saw a bearish retest unfolding. And in my latest videos I've been telling you that you could have entered the market here for Bitcoin in a short because we are seeing this bearish retest unfolding. So at this bearish retest you could have entered the market in a short and you could have made a significant trade of more than 5% to the downside. So especially when you are leverage trading, this could be a very interesting trade. But however, let's see what happens for Bitcoin in the coming days because there are a lot of interesting information showing. And first we have to have a look at the 1-hour time frame, and I will zoom in on the 1-hour time frame, and we can see that Bitcoin is currently creating this huge formation, and we are seeing this downward sloping resistance area unfolding with multiple touch points here on the top side, and we can also see this horizontal support coming into play with 2 touch points already. And eventually this price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into an apex, and we will most likely see a breakout to either the top side or either the downside. But however, the trend is still to the downside, so keep in mind that the chances are bigger that we're going to see a trend to the downside happening. But of course we want to see that bullish break to the top side, and eventually we are going to confirm the breakout to the top side. Then we have to wait for a retest of the formation so we can retest the resistance as support. And if we're going to create this bullish retest, you can enter the market for Bitcoin in a long, and then you can aim for higher targets. And then the breakout target to the top side will be the confluent with the top side of this formation, and that will be around the $102,000. So this could be the very next move for Bitcoin that could happen and today or maybe in the rest of the week. And let's then have a look at the Bitcoin ETFs inflow. In the last 3 days we saw a huge outflows into out of the Bitcoin ETFs, and we are now currently below the $36 billion. But of course this is still nothing to worry about because the last weeks we saw a huge inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. We are now seeing a little bit of a decline of this spot total cumulative inflow, so nothing to worry about of course. But of course we want to see that the end of the year for Bitcoin will end strong, and of course we want to see a huge bullish 2025 as well. And the Bitcoin ETFs are almost 1 year old, so this is insane, and we are now seeing almost a 36 billion total inflow in 1 year. So this is very bullish for Bitcoin of course. And if we then have a look at the Ethereum ETFs, we can see that yesterday was a very bullish day. We saw $130.8 million of total inflow, and that was because BlackRock was buying and also Fidelity was buying. So yeah, the Ethereum ETFs are now finally picking up steam. And the Ethereum ETF is almost 6 months old, so they're also at the $2.5 billion of total cumulative inflow. So this was also having a very bullish effect on the price of Ethereum. And zooming out to the 4-hour time frame of Bitcoin again, we can see that this huge horizontal support level is coming into play, and we can see multiple touch points here on the lower side as resistance and also as support. And every time we touch this support level, we saw a huge spike to the top side and a separation of this level. So let's see if Bitcoin can separate itself from this level, and every time we come back to this huge green box of accumulation, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin, just like I did in the last days as I've been telling you on my Telegram group. And we can see we're already bouncing for 2% from this level, and on the higher side we can see this huge resistance area coming into play. We can see 3 touch points here on the top side as resistance, so eventually this looks like a little bit of a broadening wedge to the top side. So let's see if Bitcoin can separate itself from this huge horizontal support and then come to the top side of this broadening wedge again, and maybe retest this resistance to the top side, and eventually we want to see a break to the top side of course, and that will bring us to new all-time highs. And of course there's also a chance that Bitcoin is going lower, and I will tell you exactly what my price targets for Bitcoin are to the downside if we're going to see a break below this huge support area. So this of course will be my first big support area. So if Bitcoin decides to break below this level, I think we will see a bearish retest of the support to test it as resistance, and then we have to aim for the next big support level, and I think that will be around the $86,000 because in the past we can see a lot of price interactions happening here. And then if Bitcoin is going to break below this level, I think this will be a very interesting level to take in a little bit of more Bitcoin and to buy more Bitcoin for the long term. And as you can see, all these white lines are my buy orders for Bitcoin. So every time Bitcoin goes a little bit lower, I buy more Bitcoin for the long term. So of course, I don't hope that we're going lower, but at these places, my buy orders are set and you want to be ready for what's coming in the coming year. So my first buy order was at this $92,000 and it got hit perfectly. So I bought more Bitcoin at this level. So let's see if we can see a separation of this level again and that we're going to create new all-time highs in the beginning of 2025. And let me know in the comments, do you think that Bitcoin will create another all-time high before the end of 2024? Or do you think that we will just make it in 2025? And yesterday we saw that MicroStrategy bought another $561 million in Bitcoin. So this is insane, of course. And they are just buying no matter what. And MicroStrategy now holds 440,262 Bitcoin. And this is worth more than $42.7 billion. So this is insane, of course. So they're just DCAing into the market. And they know what's coming next for the future for Bitcoin. And also Michael Saylor suggests Amazon founder Jeff Bezos that he needs to buy $600 million worth of Bitcoin. And Jeff Bezos was tweeting, and Michael Saylor was just reacting. So he was saying that he needs to buy $600 million in Bitcoin. So if Jeff Bezos is going to buy Bitcoin through Amazon, I think a lot of other companies will follow, and this will open the floodgates, and it will create a lot of inflow into the Bitcoin market, and it will of course bump up the price of Bitcoin even more. And zooming out to the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is actually still in this huge uptrend. So a lot of bearish signals are unfolding on the lower time frame, but on the higher time frame, so this is the daily time frame, we are still seeing exponential highs and exponential lows. So we are seeing still higher highs and higher lows, and of course we created this higher high around this level. So I'm going to take this green line and put it around here because we created a new higher high, and of course this was confluent with the all-time high of $108,000. Currently we are now creating this higher low play. So if Bitcoin is coming below this level, then we need to be a little bit more bearish, because then we are breaking the uptrend, and then we have to be cautious that we're going to see a little bit of a downtrend. But for now we are still in this uptrend, and Bitcoin is now trying to create a higher low. So Bitcoin is still in this uptrend, and let's see if we can see a continuation of the bullish momentum to the top side. And in my latest videos I was telling you about this huge bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. We can see a higher high was unfolding on the chart, but we can also see that a lower high was unfolding on the RSI chart. And this bearish divergence indicated that this buying pressure is cooling off a little bit, and that we're seeing a little bit of a downtrend, and that's exactly what happened. So last week we saw a huge decline, and we saw a bearish candle of almost 9% to the downside, which was also causing the RSI to come down a little bit. We are now seeing a little bit of a negative weekly candle already unfolding, but the week is still young, so let's see what will happen for the rest of the week. But as I was warning you about this bearish divergence, and it played out perfectly, you could have been warned about this downside for Bitcoin. But of course, we could also see that Bitcoin is in this huge uptrend on the weekly time frame, so we could expect a little bit of an upwards momentum, and that we're going to see a continuation of the bullish uptrend. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Cardano. We can see that Cardano broke a lot of interesting resistance levels to the top side, and we eventually created a bullish retest every time. We now can see that Cardano created a regional high, and that we saw a little bit of a decline to the downside, and now we're retesting previous resistance level as support. And from this level I've been buying more Cardano, and every time we go a little bit lower to the next green box of accumulation, I'm going to buy more Cardano for the long term, because in the next bull market I think that Cardano will reach levels around the $6 and maybe beyond that level. So buying at these places could be very interesting for the long term. And of course this level needs to be painted red because it's now turned into resistance again. So let's see what will happen for Cardano in the coming days. But if we zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour time frame, I was discussing this huge consolidation pattern with you for Cardano. We saw a break to the downside, and then we retested this previous support as resistance, and now we're seeing this bearish retest unfolding, and we're seeing more downside for Cardano happening. So this could also mean that Cardano is now in this huge downtrend, and that we are going to see a continuation of this downtrend. But of course we want to invalidate this trend, and that we're going to eventually create a higher high, and we need to create a higher high higher than this, and that will of course mean that Cardano will be in an uptrend again. So let's see how strong Cardano is and what will happen for Cardano in the coming days and weeks. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is XRP. So we can see that XRP on a daily time frame is in this huge consolidation formation, and this is looking like a little bit like a bull flag formation. We are seeing two touch points on the top side as resistance, and on the lower side we can see this huge horizontal support coming into play. We can see a lot of touch points happening, and this is looking very bullish. So let's see if XRP can separate itself from this huge horizontal support and eventually see a break to the top side. And if we're going to see a break to the top side of the formation will be confluent with the breakout target, and that will be around the $2.90. So let's see what will happen for XRP in the short term. And we can also see that XRP is looking a little bit like this, and that we're going to see a huge consolidation formation, and eventually this price of XRP is getting squeezed into an apex, and we will most likely see a continuation of the trend, and the trend is currently up. And after this bull flag creates a breakout, we could see exponential move for XRP happening, and then we can maybe reach for a new all-time high. So let me know in the comments, do you still hold XRP in your portfolio, and what do you think about the price prediction for XRP in 2025? You can also join my Telegram group for free. Just click the link in the description under this video and you can join my group for free. Please like the video if you think it was useful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.